Hello everybody, welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. We start with the DXY as usually. So what can I see on the weekly? We are still making here this bearish W that can play out. I think we already touched 61.80 there. Yeah, we just tapped it. I just didn't tap 61.80 of the weekly FIB. So what we can now see is that we can possibly make here this same low, same high. So this natural W to play out. So that's what I can see. The thing that's nice is to see is that we have a weekly bearish candle close. So that's an indication that the bears can go to the downside. So if I go to the daily now, on the daily you can see this bigger bearish W is still in play. So you can see from our Fibonacci from the high here to the low I drew, we went till 61.80 and there we made a bearish candle close and then we went till the downside. So what I can see is we have that bigger bearish W that can play out. We already forming this fifth leg here. And yeah, then we can go to the daily minus 27 here. The minus 27. What I can also see is here the smaller bearish W that can play out within that bigger bearish W. So that's what I can see, that from this point we have a daily bearish candle. So we can go to the downside from there. That's what I can see. If I take a trend line here like this can hold the price a little bit down. So we'll see what will happen. The DXY is bearish, so I expect bearish downwards momentum. That's what I can see. And on the 4-hour, what we can see is that we are having this bigger, this possible shoulder 1 here, head, shoulder 2. If it got tapped, I don't know. I think not yet. This is the shoulder 1 region. So if we can come like this, so if we can go to this shoulder 1 zone, and if we have shoulder 1, then this head, shoulder 2, we have here also some kind of bearish W in place. So everything between this high and low is just a correction for possible more downside momentum, as you can see. So that's what I can see on the DXY right now. Then the first trade I want to take this week is USDCHF. So on USDCHF on the weekly chart, what can you see? On the weekly, we had here a very big bearish momentum, and then we receive some kind of bearish W here for more downside momentum. If I take my Fibonacci from the high here till the low, our minus 27 weekly Fib completion is some lower, so at some lower point from the price here. So we have on the weekly that weekly bearish candle. We have a big rejection from that zone, so this is more likely to make here some diesel, because we have already some 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks sitting around that zone. So that's a little bit more dangerous to take their trade. But yeah, we have a weekly bearish candle close, so nothing to really stop the price at the moment. So if I go to the daily, then on the daily, what you can see after that bigger bearish W, so we had that bigger first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, then we made the fifth leg till the daily same lows. So I expect the same high, so the daily natural W, that's what I can see right now, the same lows here, which we touched, and then I expect the same highs, which we touched already, with that nice supply and demand, so acting as support, support, resistance, resistance. So that's very nice to see. And then we touched the daily highs, and I went to the 4-hour. And what I want to see is then we have already our first candle, second candle, we touched daily zone, so I can look for diesel. So the next candle, when the market will open, I want to see a bearish candle close, and then I can take my limit. If I have a bearish candle close, my limit at this diesel, the box, okay, around number, okay, it's okay, then around number to the upside from there, 0.920 0.9200, and then for around 5% will be okay. 5%, 26.5 pips, so 5% will be enough to take this trade. So that's what I can see on this trade. If we have a 4-hour bearish candle close, then I can take my limit for this possible diesel. Then the next trade, NZDUSD on the weekly chart. What you can see on the weekly chart is that we touched this weekly previous lower high here, the weekly high. So you can see it already rejecting from this point. So very nice to see. We have this bigger bearish W here that can play out. We already see 2 weekly bearish candle closes, which is very nice. So I went to the daily chart, and on the daily chart you can see that we have this bearish W here, and we have between all the red candles, you have 1 blue candle here. So normally it works like a magnet. So that's what I can see. We already have a daily bullish candle close. So I expect the price to come till this IC zone. And from there, I want to take a pattern. If I go now to the 4-hour chart, it needs to have some more development because we are still making these lower lows and lower highs. So this is our lower, this is our high and our low. So everything between that is just a correction for more downside momentum. So we need to first break that zone, and then we can make here a pattern or some diesel. We need to see what we will have there. So yeah, then the next trade NZDCAD. So if I go to the weekly, on the weekly we had here that weekly bearish candle close, the weekly second big impulsive candle close. If I go on the weekly, we have a kind of supply and demand zone here sitting. We have here that support, then the resistance, big sellers kicking in from that point, and here also kicking in. So it's a supply and demand zone that holds very well with the weekly bearish candle close. So I can look for the daily, and what I can see on the daily, we have a big bearish W pattern. We have the first leg, second leg, and the third leg is very big, bigger than the first leg, as you can see, and this is the third leg. So I expect the price to come till my daily IC zone. So from there on, I want to see some pattern to take there a trade on. So yeah, then GBPAUD on the weekly chart. What you can see on the weekly chart is that we were rejecting from this weekly high. So we were making here the weekly diesel box from the weekly highs, and here also already. So this can be a false break of these weekly highs. So we had a weekly bearish candle close. We are also having some weekly supply and demand zone, as you can see. Some support here, support, resistance, support, resistance. So it's a good supply and demand zone. So it's very nice holding there. So yeah, I go back to the weekly, and we have that weekly bearish candle close, possible smaller head and shoulders on the weekly, shoulder 1 here, head, shoulder 2, possibly can play out. And then I will go to the daily chart, and on the daily chart you can see that we broke this higher low here. This is our higher high, we broke it, so we close below, and we are making now this same lows. So I expect the same highs, the natural W to play out. So that's what I can see, natural W to play out. Same lows, same highs, the daily zone to get tapped. That's what I want to see on GBPAUD. Then the next GBPCHF. So if I go to GBPCHF, I go to the weekly chart, and on the weekly chart, you can see we are having 3 bearish candle closes after each other. So that's very nice to see that we have that. The only thing we need to be careful for is this weekly lows here. We just didn't tap that, so this is the thing we need to be careful for if you touch that. So yeah, we are making now this bigger bearish W here. So we have that first leg, second leg, third leg, then the fourth leg. And what I want to see is between these 2 big bearish daily candle closes, we have 1 blue candle. So I expect that this candle to get tapped, this whole candle here, the body of the candle. So there is a power at. So now we receive two daily bullish candles. So I expect the price to come back to this zone, to that zone, and then we can go to the downside till this weekly low zone. So this is aligning with daily -27 here, round number. So that's what I can see. And on the 4-hour, what I can already see is maybe a fib completion from the low here to the high, -27, -60, -80 aligning between the zones. If I take it like this, just here, fib completion. Yeah, this will be the good fib, the smaller. So this is the bullish M then to play out on the daily 4-hour -27, which aligns with the daily institutional candle. So that's what I can see, that we can tap this daily zone. So then the last trade, AUDCHF. So if I go to the weekly chart, you can see that we were making here this shoulder 1 at shoulder 2 because we broke this lower high here. So we broke it with an impulsive leg. So everything between this low and high is just a correction for more upside momentum. So we are now at this weekly lows. So you can already see that the bulls kicking in from that weekly lows because the trend is bullish. We made also a fib completion from the low here, from the high to the low, -680 fib completion. Bulls are kicking in. Weekly bullish candle close, which is a nice indication that we can go more to the upside. Then on the daily, you can see a pattern within a pattern. We have that shoulder 1 here, this head, shoulder 2, within that a nice resistance in the head, so nice supply and demand zone, and also some bullish M within that, so a pattern within a pattern that I can see right now. So that's very nice to see. So I expect the price to come back to the shoulder 1 zone, the daily white zone, with a nice resistance in the head, which make it more valid to take. So that increases our trade probability. So these are the trades I'm looking at. There are also some the NZD needs to have some more development to go for that inverted and shoulders. Also here the resistance in the head, support, GBPUSD, here that bearish W, this daily zone to get tapped. So these are the trades I'm still looking at to take. So this is my trade setups for this upcoming week. So have a nice week, guys, and see you next week. Bye.